Sports. You're listening to Redzone on Revolution 91.7.
Oh.
Money talks, and so do we, apparently, here on the Red Zone. Fletcher Keel with the Blue Powerade boys. Billy Rutledge, Jimmy Stratman, both
wow,
with
I didn't even know that.
Blue Powerades coming into the studio here.
Unite.
Yeah, they just cheered, and I'm over here without any sort of drink. Kyle Newman running the boards again, and Kyle, your lungs still feeling good?
Yeah,
still holding up? Feeling good, awesome. Kyle is a bit of a nervous wreck tonight. His Pacers fighting for a playoff spot. And if they get that spot, good for him. Also good for me. That means the Hawks might get the number 1 pick in the NBA draft as they hold Brooklyn's pick, or they can hold Brooklyn's pick, and Brooklyn will be a lottery team.
Last
how awesome
last
would
day
that
of the
be?
NBA season, right?
Yeah,
Tonight?
It's one of the 3 best days on the sports calendar, the final day of the NBA season,
What?
because that means the NBA season is over.
That's a bold statement,
Almost
Fletcher.
over. Anyone who knows me a little bit knows my disdain for the NBA. They also know my love of the sport of baseball. And WKU baseball had a huge win last night, 5-3 over the Kentucky Wildcats in 10 innings. Mr. Anderson Miller from Lexington hit a 2-run home run in the top of the 9th inning with 2 outs to force extra innings. And after the game said something that I absolutely love. He said, first off, I want to start by saying they didn't want me out of high school, and I don't think they could play at the SEC level. So I hope I showed them that I could. And he is tearing it up. 2nd in USA in slugging percentage, 3rd in on-base percentage, 4th in home runs. We've heard things saying that he's going to go in the MLB draft no later than the 5th round. Anderson Miller is so much fun to watch.
I love that, and I love a little swagger in a player, especially when they're going to be expected to go on to the next level. I know a lot of prospects love the humbleness and things like that and just want somebody to play and show their actions, but I love that he was able to show someone that didn't believe in him early on. He was able to overcome those doubters and have a performance like that. I don't know if you guys have actually seen Anderson Miller play. I'm talking to the fans now listening. You need to go to the Nick and see this guy play. He bats number 1 in the lineup. He can do everything. He's at center field. He's just the main man in Hilltopper baseball.
He has a type of swagger when he comes up to the plate, when he runs out onto the field that you just absolutely love. And he walked into Lexington last night and just absolutely showed out against the Wildcats.
Has 22 RBIs, 9 home runs, hitting .342, a .667 slugging percentage, a .463 on-base percentage. The dude can get on base. He can bring runners in. He can hit home runs. And I wish the rest of the Hilltopper offense could just be a clone of Anderson Miller, because the biggest struggle that they've had, and really they've had the entire Matt Myers era dating back to 2011, is consistency.
Right.
They've won back-to-back games just once in their last 13 games, and they came on the same day when they swept a doubleheader against Louisiana Tech, coming off of a 20-1 loss.
It just seems like we've said this on past shows before. It's WKU baseball is 500 ball. They'll go and win 2-1 somewhere, and then they'll go on the road, get swept. They'll sweep someone here, maybe win a weekday game, but it all just cancels out, and that's what we saw kind of this weekend when they played Southern Miss. Fletcher, you and I were at the second game where they lost.
We were at the game in which they allowed 6 runs in back-to-back innings.
Yeah, a grand slam. It was 15-3 it ended up being, and they didn't score those 3 runs until the
8th or 9th inning.
Exactly.
Something way too late.
Yeah, so we had a hot dog. At least I had a hot dog.
You had a hot dog.
It was just painful to watch. 2 6-run innings. It really is consistency with this club, and if they want to take that next level, kind of postseason play, they're going to have to change.
It was painful to watch you eat that hot dog as well. And yeah, giving up a combined 21 runs in the 2 losses to Southern Miss did the pitching staff 15-3 and 6-3 losses, only scoring 6 runs themselves are the Hilltoppers.
And when you look at the Hilltoppers as a team, you can't pinpoint their inconsistencies to almost one area. Sometimes it's offense, sometimes it's defense. In the case of that Southern Miss game, the 15-3 loss, sometimes it's pitching, but nothing ever quite gels at the same time for them.
Yep. It seems like this year more than last that it's pitching that is either dominant or not.
Yep.
And it's either that the pitching goes like on Friday and it's Harmon and Elder and they combine for a 1-hit shutout and they win 5-0, or it's the next day where Josh Bartley gives up
doesn't last 3 innings.
Exactly, and they lose 15-3. It just seems like maybe last year that the bats were always there, and it seemed like Western was always in this game, and Ryan Church could always hit a home run and Cody Wofford, but it seems like this year the bats have struggled a little bit, and if pitching's on, they win. If pitching's off, it isn't.
I feel like almost across the board. I'll say across the men's spectrum of WKU sports, because volleyball just plays at an absolutely insane level. Soccer just got their toes wet in Conference USA this year and was able to make the tournament. We know what the swim and dive team has done, winning championship after championship after championship. But especially talking about basketball, baseball, and football, I feel like there's no real Hilltopper way. And the Hilltopper way in volleyball is losing 3 conference sets all year. In soccer, a couple of years ago, it was scoring late. This year, it was scoring early. There's no real football way, basketball way, or baseball way with the Hilltoppers. They either play to their opponent's level, be it above them or below them. We saw that time and time again with basketball. A team like Southern Miss, which the Hilltoppers should have blown out of the water, they nearly escaped a couple times. The Hilltoppers will play really well against a team like Illinois, and then will just drop an egg against a team like Louisiana Tech. And baseball does the same thing. They allow 21 runs in 2 games to Southern Miss, and then they beat UK in Lexington.
The WKU bullpen is probably one of the most inconsistent things I have ever seen. It is either they come in and they have 0 runs and go through 7 innings, just like the last UK baseball game that they played, where the bullpen came in and didn't allow a run in 7-8 innings.
Yeah, 12-3 win.
Exactly. And so this bullpen, or either that, or especially last year, was the Achilles heel of this team.
Yep.
And I kind of,
especially in that Texas Southern game, which ended their season in the tournament.
I kind of agree with what you were saying, Fletcher, with the Hilltopper way, but it's very hard to create an environment like Travis Hudson has with the volleyball team only losing 3 sets a year. That is just such defined success that you can make it a Hilltopper.
Well, yeah, but
one of the things that Travis Hudson has done to make that Hilltopper way is he's been here for 20 years?
Yeah,
he's been here forever.
Before I was born, he was the coach here at Western Kentucky.
He's been here
Don't
forever.
tell that to him, though. You'll make him feel old. That's not nice.
He has had so much time to develop the way that he wants things to go that by the time new players come in for the volleyball team, it's just like a machine. They get ready in the same ways, and it's so consistent because he's been here for so long.
Well, even with Ray Harper, who's been here for 3 years, how would you define WKU? Sure, they play a more slower game. They're more physical down low, but that's really all you can say.
WKU basketball?
Yeah.
Scrappers. They win. Harper's won his 3rd straight 20-win season in his first 3 full seasons, something that John Oldham, E.A. Diddle didn't do. And it doesn't seem like they impressively beat anyone. It's not like they beat Louisville or these huge teams. It seems like they go to conference play and they do pretty good at home. They're inconsistent again, but they scrap to a good record, and they're able to win 4 games in 4 days. They're able to do kind of the little things.
They're still you can't quite pinpoint what it is about that team. You could say they're scrappers, but it's a different piece of scrap every day.
It's not a three-pointers all the time. It's not dunks or anything.
And if Louisiana Tech were to have come in here last year, that would have been a much closer game. Hilltoppers probably still would have lost, but it wouldn't have been the 11-point or whatever loss it was. You saw Hilltoppers lose to Rice last year, and they were pitiful during the regular season. Turned it on at the end, kind of like Marshall. It's just baseball, probably above all else. There's all right, going into the game, you know kind of what's going to happen. You know what the Hilltoppers need to do. Something just needs to click.
Well, that's just kind of the sport of baseball as well, I think. It's kind of a grind, and it's kind of, you don't know what you're going to get each day. The thing about Major League Baseball is if you can hit the ball 3 times out of 10, you're going to be in the Hall of Fame someday.
4 out of 10 would be a Hall of Famer.
Well, yeah, obviously 400. But even somebody that bats 300 for 10 years, you got to think they're going to be in the Hall of Fame consistently.
But even still, if you're in the Major League Baseball and you're batting 3 out of 10, you could be in the Hall of Fame, but your team still won't do squat. You got to have all those different aspects have to gel, and going back to WKU, they just can't. They just can't get it to do that.
That's where their inconsistency comes, and it kind of comes with Coach Myers, and we've seen that the past few years.
Hilltoppers baseball offense inconsistent, can score a ton, can score not at all, hardly at all. But the football offense has no problem putting points on the board. The spring game is Saturday. It will be the first chance to impress for a number of Hilltoppers. Brandon Dowdy, the biggest name of that.
I heard he's good.
He's all right. If Dowdy can replicate his passing yards last year, in which he threw for 4,830 yards, he would finish in the top 20 passers of all time in college football.
Wow.
And that's pretty impressive. Mm-hmm. And so I ask you guys, if I'm a fan, say I'm a sophomore at WKU. That's what you guys are. Say I'm a sophomore here. I kind of pay attention to the sports, not really. I like watching the NFL. I kind of like watching the big college football games. I'm going to go to the spring game Saturday. what is it that I'm looking for in an inter-squad scrimmage? What's the one thing that I'm gonna be looking for? Because I'm not gonna see, the offense just dismantled the defense or vice versa, because that's not a true testament of what we're gonna see come August and September.
I think if you're going to the game, if you're in that position where you don't follow them religiously, you're just going because you want to. It's something to do, and you want to see how your football team's going to look. Maybe come the start of the season, or see how they're progressing. I think you just want to go to see Brandon Doughty and the offense, because they've been so prolific that especially last year, they were the main talking point. And I think that as somebody who doesn't follow it religiously, you're just going to want to go see something exciting. Hopefully they can pull out something exciting on the offense.
Someone that does follow it religiously, I'm the beat writer for the Herald here at the football team, and there's a different culture, and we have talked a lot about culture in the swing, but this culture is a lot different this year, and the energy. That is the single word that the Coach Brom, the defensive coordinator Nick Holt, the offensive coordinator, they have all talked about the different energy that this team, especially the defense, because they're running around making plays. The defensive line is at force to be reckoned with this year. They have all 4 starters back, including Jontavius Morris. There's linebackers that are stepping up. Iggy, the linebacker, Nick Holt. There's a little bit of a different kind of swagger, and I hate saying the word swagger because there's still a defense that's up in limbo right now. It's still a defense that's not looked as good or a preseason favorite, but this defense is going to be wanting to make plays against this good offense. I expect we see the ones versus the ones, the offense versus the defense, and I know Nick Holt's telling his guys, he's saying, we're going to win this battle. We want to show the fans that this defense is going to be a force to be reckoned with.
That's what they want to do. They got to show out in this spring game to get some belief back in the defense, because the defense was pitiful last year. Absolutely pitiful.
Yeah, and you didn't even have to follow WKU football to know that.
No, but if they can just establish some kind of belief system in the fans, if they can show in the spring game that they can play with a prolific offense like WKU has, maybe that'll draw some more fans coming in the regular season. Maybe they'll think defense is going to show up. We may have a chance to win a number of more games this year.
Look, the fans know the offense is going to show up. They know Brandon Doughty's going to be there. They know all the weapons that they have. But if they go to the spring game as a casual fan and say the defense fired up, they see them screaming after every play, they see them hitting the quarterback, they see them making plays, that is kind of a little bit more excitement, knowing that the offense is still going to be there. It's a very good offense, but this defense, man, they're doing against one of the best offenses in the nation. That's another thing that Coach Holt talks about, is doing this every single day against Brandon Doughty, doing this every single day against Jared Dangerfield.
Brandon Doughty, a name people are excited for, a name you should be excited for. Based on what coaches have said after practices over the spring, Nakarius Fant, and it'll be his first chance to really be a part of the Hilltopper offense, and we'll see how he fits along the likes of Taywan Taylor, Jared Dangerfield, and that dangerous receiving core for the Hilltoppers. A couple of pieces of news came out today. Mitchell Henry and Dalton Patterson, former Hilltoppers, got NFL workouts. Mitchell Henry with the Chargers, Patterson with the Saints. Cam Thomas, Cam Clemens are the 2 most likely candidates to get drafted already. 6-7 Hilltoppers playing professionally in the NFL in some capacity right now. As this football team gets better and better, and the program grows, and the players coming in get better, we're going to see a lot of Hilltoppers in the NFL, and that's one of my favorite things to do. I love watching WKU sports, and name the sport, I'll be there and watching it, but seeing someone from WKU represent the Hilltoppers at the professional ranks, whatever. Courtney Lee, Jeremy Evans do a good job in the NBA, all the NFL professional Hilltoppers. That excites me more than anything else.
I actually have to agree with you, Fletcher. I was watching the playoff game. I'm a huge Bengals fan from Cincinnati. Watching. Thank you, Billy. Aren't you a Bucks fan?
I am.
I'm sorry.
Okay. I mean, we have a future quarterback that's going to be good, though. We're going to
Mariota.
Winston.
No, I would not do anything with it. But continue with your point, Jim.
What I was going to say is I was watching that Colts-Bengals game in the playoffs, and I heard the name Jack Doyle come up a couple times for Indianapolis, and I thought, you know what, that's still really cool. I'm a Bengals fan, but the fact that I'm watching a former Hilltopper play
Andrew Jackson was on that
team.
Colts team, too.
Yes.
Hey, and Jonathan Dowling doing good in Oakland. Yeah, he's still on the roster.
Antonio Andrews, a fan favorite in the Titans in the sense of they want to see what he has because they were tired of the running back situation down in Nashville last year.
The pro day atmosphere for Western Kentucky football this year was a little bit different. It was just a little bit like, hey, this is actual potential players in the NFL. It's not just hey, let's come to Western Kentucky and see a football team. There was some actual talent.
There was a little bit more hype, a little bit more excitement in the air at Houchin-Smith Stadium during Pro Day.
I was watching that Bengals game in Cincinnati with my girlfriend. She's from there, and every time Jack Doyle's name was mentioned, I cheered, and her family looked at me a little weird until she finally said, he's a former Hilltopper. He's pulling for the Bengals, but if that Colts name is up, he'll be cheering. So spring game, 1 o'clock Saturday. If you don't care about football, if you don't care about sports in general,
at least go to the tailgate.
Go to the tailgate, at least go and be one of the first 1,000 people, I know I am, to get a Bahama Bowl Champions tank top. Those things are sick nasty, and I will wear it just about every day. I'll wash it, of course, but that thing, it's going to be hard to take off me, kind of like Linus's blanket with Snoopy. We have one final segment coming up, some basketball to talk to you. We're in Kentucky, can't escape basketball no matter the time of year, and a certain 21-year-old, sorry, Billy, took the Masters by storm this weekend. Just saying it wasn't you. It was Jordan Spieth, and we'll talk about him a little bit on the other side here on Revolution 91.7.